Hi, dear friends, cultural creatives, and seekers everywhere. Bruce Lipton here, author of the best selling book, The Biology of Belief. And I'm here actually to talk about a wonderful new work called Upshift by Ervin Laszlo. And this is a very important book for our time right now for a very simple reason. We are facing an evolutionary upheaval. And nature is telling us if we don't change our ways, extinction is looming not in 1,000 years, but within the next few decades, even. So, what we need to do is change our behavior because human behavior is precipitating a collapse of the web of life, which is leading to what is called the sixth mass extinction. Now, Irvin's book is a very important contribution to this because it's going to give us some insights and information on how we can change the character and quality of our lives to not just survive in this world, but actually to thrive into the new evolution. So I highly recommend that we take a break and start to look at a new way of life on this planet. And Upshift is the real introduction of what is the method of going from this mass extinction into a world where heaven on earth is a way of life? And the answers to those questions are going to be found in my dear friend Ervin Laszlo's book, Great Philosopher, putting his philosophy down for us to move into the future. I so look forward to having you involved with this process because together we will create an evolution that we can thrive in. So, looking forward to The Upshift by Ervin Laszlo.
Hello, this is Jane Goodall with a message for Professor Ervin Laszlo's Upshift movement. Right now, we're going through dark times, politically, socially, and especially environmentally. We've brought climate change and loss of biodiversity on ourselves by our disrespect of the natural world. And we've also brought this pandemic on ourselves by our absolute disrespect of animals, treating them as mere things to be exploited as we wish, and not as the sentient beings they are. As Ervin Laszlo says, we need a new mindset. We need to shift our thinking and our behavior. If we carry on with business as usual, putting short-term gain ahead of protecting the natural world for future generations, we're doomed, as already in some places we're using up nature's finite natural resources faster than nature can replenish them. We must realize we're part of the natural world. Indeed, we depend on it. Even if we live in the middle of a city, the air that we breathe, the food we eat, the clothes we wear originate in nature. Already more people are aware, but many don't know what to do. We must all remember that every day we live, we create some kind of impact on the planet, and we can choose what sort of impact we make. If we start to ask questions about what we buy, how we travel and interact with nature, and if we make ethical choices, the upshift in our minds begins. The good news is that some even big corporations are changing the way they do business, ensuring that ethical standards are upheld in how they source their products and pay their staff. Climate change is at least high on the political agenda of many countries. We must alleviate poverty, for the poor will destroy the environment simply to survive. For example, they cut down trees to make money from timber or charcoal. And in a city, they don't have the luxury of asking if a product harmed the environment, was cruel to animals, is cheap because of unfair wages. And we must alleviate the unsustainable lifestyles of so many of us. We must educate children, empower them to make a difference, to know that they matter, and that we're there to help and support them if they need us. Indeed, we must encourage a new mindset. We must shift up. We have the know-how. Together we can. Together we will. We must. Thank you.
Hello, friends. Greg Braden here, and I want to welcome you to the Upshift Festival and the celebration and the launch of a brand new book by my dear, dear friend, my colleague, Ervin Laszlo. I was honored and privileged to contribute to the book, and that's what I want to talk to you about right now. What is an upshift? What does it mean? What does it mean in our world? What does it mean in our lives? You know, it's no secret that we're living a time of extremes. Boy, are we ever. We're seeing it all around us, and even those that used to be skeptical can no longer deny that something different is happening, something unique. And from my perspective, something so precious, this rare, precious moment in the history, not just of our lives, not just of our nations, but of our planet, of our civilization. A rare moment, the first time we've seen this in 5,000 years of recorded human history, when the systems that we have built in the past, that served us in the past, are now no longer working. They are breaking down. They are buckling and collapsing before our very eyes. We know this. We're seeing it happen with climate. We're seeing it happen with the economy. Seeing it happen with the global financial system, with the global healthcare system. We're seeing these systems collapse all around us. And it's no accident that they are, because we are living this convergence of cycles of time and human experience that we simply don't talk about. We don't talk about it in mainstream classrooms, textbooks, mainstream documentaries, but they are what is driving the change. I want to talk to you just for a moment about how nature accomplishes tremendous change in a healthy way. And I'm going to use the science of cymatics to help me do this. Some of you know about cymatics, some may not. Cymatics is a relatively new science of pumping vibration, sometimes audible sounds, tones, into a physical media, a liquid media. It could be water, it could be a mercury, or a powder like talcum powder or salt or sulfur, sugar, granulated sugar. And what happens is each tone creates a specific pattern in the physical medium, and when the tone changes, that pattern changes. As the vibration increases to a higher level, to a more complex level of sound, the pattern becomes more complex as well. Here's the key, and this is what you're going to see. The only way that pattern can go from one beautiful, beautiful pattern to a higher order of a more complex, more beautiful pattern is that the original pattern has to break down to give way to a higher order. This is where we are today. We are in it, and the only way out of it is to go through it. We're going through the breakdown of the complex patterns that we've created in the past, as I said, that work for us. I'm not saying they're right, wrong, good, or bad. The point is the world changed. So we've got to change, and the systems have to change, and it is rare for humans to live through this kind of change in such a compressed window of time. This is what the upshift is all about. This is what Ervin Laszlo's book is all about, helping us to understand, number one, why this is so powerful, but number two, what can we do? So let's take a look at this cymatics pattern right now. So what you're seeing on your screen is a droplet of water, and when I set this into motion, you're going to see these patterns emerge. Before I do that, I just want you to know this is a brief film clip from a presentation that I gave in 1995. 1995, my hair was a little bit longer, a little bit darker than it is now, and you'll see that in just a moment. Let's take a look at this pattern. So here's what's happening. There's a vibration in the pattern, and the pattern's reflecting it, but now as the vibration increases, the pattern becomes more complex. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Here's where it gets really interesting. The only way for that beautiful pattern to give way to a higher order of a more complex pattern, there I am, 1995. The only way for that pattern to give way to the higher level of order is it's got to break down. And when it does, look at what happens. It's breaking down, and as it breaks down, watch what emerges. It's a more beautiful, more complex pattern. If you are a student of sacred geometry, you're seeing sacred geometry right there. But it doesn't end there, because as the pattern continues, or the vibration continues to increase in frequency, the pattern continues to give way to more complex patterns. Each time the existing pattern has to disappear. You and I are going through this right now. If you don't know this, the change in the world can be frightening. If you do understand this, what you know is the change in the world is necessary. We're in it. The only way out of it is to go through it. We're living this rare and precious moment in the history of our world when there's an unprecedented openness to accept new ideas, to accept new ways of thinking. Ervin Laszlo's new book, The Upshift, gives us the blueprint. It's the template to embrace that thinking, but it goes beyond that. It tells us how to apply that thinking in our lives in a healthy way. So I want to thank you for supporting the Upshift, and I want to thank you for all that you're doing to make this the best world possible.
We like to begin by congratulating our beloved Irvin on his remarkable new book, The Upshift for Thriving on Planet Earth. He asked us to share what the upshift means for us. In his latest book, he begins with Hamlet's famous questions: to be or not to be? Shifting up to a better world or drifting down to crisis and chaos? This is indeed, dear friends, the challenge of our time. Irvin rightly points out that it's no longer a question of whether to change or not to change, only how to change. And he affirms that action is needed on a global scale with active participation of a critical mass of the world population. In other words, we need a lure of becoming, a lure for the upshift, one that is not just based on the breakdown of all that's no longer working. Rather, envision the upshift itself as an evolutionary force. Irvin explains this beautifully in this book, the evolutionary force for attracting us forward into the greater becoming of the higher dream. The poet says, redeem the time, redeem the unread vision of the higher dream. He reminds us that this evolutionary force, which I like to call the lure of our becoming, empowers us to shift beyond the challenges and crises of our time. My friend and co-author, Anne-Louise Smitsman, here, may share with us how that very lure is part of the future itself. What the upshift means for me is the higher world, the deeper world, the world that we are meant to have. We are not just, wandering around strangers in a universe. We are part of the cosmic mind herself. And we have it within us. If we can just get it together, we have it within us to profoundly be the change that makes the change. And that is what, dear friends, in this remarkable book, dear Irvin, shows us the paths to the transformation, the paths in which we are the ones who will be ones. We are the ones who can begin the great upshift. Thank you. And I'd like to ask you now, how can you be part of this critical mass, this tipping point of whole system change, to upshift to a higher order of reality? Anne-Louise, please share with us a few words of what this upshift means to you.
Thank you, Jean, for your inspiring words. And first of all, I'd like to also congratulate Irvin on this wonderful new book, which I highly recommend. He explains in this book how this evolutionary force of life itself acts as an attractor, which I believe is precisely what futures are all about. And that's also what it means to me. Futures, they're not just ideas of time. They are, as Irvin explains in the book, holotropic attractors. Attractors that attract us into the wholeness realization of our cosmological potentials, which are also the informational potentials that carry the seeds for upshifting to higher and more integral orders of reality. So these seeds are within us already, waiting for us to explore and discover and bring it forth and engage it. As Irvin explains in his beautiful book, the attractor acts as a tropism towards coherence and oneness throughout nature, and we are part of nature. And we can experience this as intuition and spiritual insight, also as a sense of wonder and passion and enthusiasm and gratitude and love. And through this evolutionary force, we are intimately part of the greater universe which is really the cradle of our future becoming. Irvin also mentions in this new book that the evolution of life is not a response to just external conditions, but it's really the unfolding of an intrinsic attraction that is intrinsic to the universe itself. We are attracted to evolve, not through struggle for survival, but we are attracted to evolve to thrive together with all of life. And what the upshift means to me, therefore, is this departure of hundreds of years of mechanistic thinking and dualistic behavior and the belief in separation, and to shift, truly shift into the higher consciousness states of our next evolutionary step. Life shifts us up and in each time we let go of our limited ways of thinking and we see into life from this beautiful wisdom of our heart. Every moment in your life is an opportunity to upshift and to start living from the realities of life that are so beautifully described in this latest book of Irvin, The Upshift. The realities of living in harmony with our planet and co-creating thriving communities and life-centered civilizations. Join the Upshift.
Welcome, everyone, to the Laszlo Upshift Festival. I am delighted to join with everyone around the world. Ervin Laszlo is one of the most important scientists who unites science with spirituality. In Mother Earth's current chaos, Ervin's new book, The Upshift, Wiser Living on Planet Earth, offers deep wisdom and practical ways to transform humanity and Mother Earth. His insight is invaluable. In ancient wisdom, the heart houses the mind and soul. In our time now, the most important thing is to transform humans' heart and uplift our consciousness. Upshift offers the wisdom to transform humans' blockages and negativities in order to uplift the consciousness of humanity. From my heart and soul, I will sing a song I received from the divine. To celebrate this event and Irvin's new book, the divine message is to bring love, peace, harmony, to create oneness for humanity and Mother Earth. Totally relax. I love my heart and soul. I love all humanity. Join heart and souls together. Love, peace, and harmony. Love, peace, and harmony. Lula, lula, li. Lula, lula, la, li. Lula, lula, li. Lula, lula, li. Lula, lula, li. Lula. 我爱我心和灵，我爱全人类万灵，融合睦世生，相爱平安和谐，相爱平安和谐。I wish the greatest success for Irvin's new book and for the Upshift Festival. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Lula, 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 Lula.
I love my heart and soul. I love humanity. Join hearts and souls together. Love, peace, and harmony.
Love, peace, and harmony.
Lula, Lula. I was Italy. Gentle
Vereinigt Herzen und Seelen.
L'amour baby harmony.
Pag-ibig, kapayapaan, harmonia. मुझे प्रेम मेरे द्वार
Kecilnya sini.
Bondro hati nak raku makamlah. Udoru garen ekşisi ziralu. Amor vazi harmonia.
আমি আমার মনো আশাকে ভালোবাসি।
Ik hou van alle mensen.
Sagitoen e quamio vigitoen. Ai hewa so shite chowa.
E aloha mai iao.
Amo tutta l'umanità.
And not the cartoon, Gypsy
Sarang yang hajua. Rakas rau haya harmoni.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jude Curravan. The Upshift book and festival are both inspirational rallying calls and empowering wayshowers to how we can, at this moment of our collective existential and evolutionary choice, upshift both our thinking and, crucially, our behaviours. With Ervin Laszlo as our guide, instead of falling into fear, we're invited to come together to take a leap into love, not from a sentimental, but a deeply felt sense and embodiment of our interbeing with each other, our planetary home, Gaia, and the whole world. We also now have evidence from scientific breakthroughs at all scales of existence and across many fields of research that are revealing that such interconnectedness is the fundamental nature of a universe that exists and evolves as a unified entity. It's a universe inherently conscious, innately intelligent, and imbued with meaning and purpose, that exists to evolve from simplicity to complexity and diversity, towards ever greater levels of individuated and collective self-expression, self-awareness, and conscious interdependence. Convergent with universal wisdom teachings and interspirituality, this emergent whole worldview provides us with a unifying framework and the basis for a unitive and evolutionary new narrative that's founded on universal principles of compassion, truth, justice, and peace. The message of Upshift clarifies its potential and promise and offers eminently practical ways for its realization. As Ervin wisely asks us, how do we build a better post-pandemic world whilst honouring the most cherished values and achievements of our past? For rather than trying to leave our past behind, instead, how do we take the best of its wisdom as a vital, grounded, and timely therapy to substantiate the emergent understanding of unified reality and its evolutionary impulse, and to help lead us together towards a healed, regenerated, and thriving world?
Hello there. I'm Howard Martin. I'm the Executive Vice President at HeartMath here in Northern California, author of some books, a producer of a movie, things like that. But more importantly, I'm a citizen of planet Earth, just like you, doing the very best I can to make meaning out of life and to make a contribution to the betterment of others and to the world itself. More importantly, I guess, is that today I have the opportunity to be a part of the Upshift Festival, Ervin Laszlo's Upshift Festival, and I really appreciate this opportunity to have a few minutes to share with you. It's obvious that the world is going through a tremendous amount of change right now, and the chaos and confusion that we see is often the picture of reality that many people adopt. For me, however, I see a little different picture. I have compassion and understanding about all the challenges that people are going through, but I see so many new and exciting, hopeful possibilities of a new world emerging right in the midst of this old one. Hundreds of millions of people have changed their lives, changed the way they think, changed the way they feel, changed what they want in life, and they're doing everything they can to usher in this new world with more ease and more poise and more grace. And I think that's a wonderful thing. So in the midst of all the challenges, I see great opportunity. We are going through literally a dimensional shift in consciousness right now. We're shifting from a baseline of third dimensional consciousness to one in the higher fourth dimension. It's taking hundreds of years, but it's happening very, very quickly. And we're at a time period right now where the accelerated change is dynamic and real. The question becomes, what do we do with that? How do we manifest this opportunity and turn it into something that's tangible and real for ourselves? And then to take that reality and make it real for everyone else as best we can. That is the big question. To do that, to me, requires something that we all have inside, that we've always had inside, that just needs a little dusting off and brought to the forefront. and that is heart. The qualities of the heart: love, care, kindness, compassion, appreciation, patience, tolerance, non-judgment. The intuitive qualities of the heart that access this larger field of information that gives us insights into what we need to do, the next steps we need to take to help us make decisions, big and small, as we go through the game of life. Part of the changes that I see right now is that heart is re-emerging. It's evolving. It's coming into a newness, unlike anything we've seen in historical times. The emergence of heart intelligence is really part of the evolutionary imperative that we're experiencing right now during this era of high-speed change. So as we learn to trust and listen to and access more of this innate, magnificent intelligence that we have called heart, we end up finding solutions to challenges that sometimes appear to have no solutions. We find the resilience that we need to move forward in life. We find the deep understanding that we need of ourselves, of others, and of the changes in the world. And those are just a few of the many, many benefits that each and every one of us can experience as we manifest more of the qualities of heart in our life and bring about the heart intelligence and bring it to the forefront in everything that we do, and learn how to live truly a more heart-directed life. The fulfillment's there when we do it. I certainly have experienced that in my life, and then my life's work really is about helping other people find their fulfillment through accessing the intelligence of the heart. What I want us to do now is experience a little of that. And to do that, we'll do a very short little heart-focused practice together. The first step in this practice is I'd like you right now, if you can, to close your eyes and then focus your attention here in the area right in the center of your chest, the area of your heart. If you want to, you can put your hand there if it brings your attention to that place. With your attention there, now what I'd like you to do is breathe naturally and normally, but a little deeper than you normally would, but in a rhythm that's comfortable for you. And as you're breathing in this comfortable, deeper rhythm, I'd like you to imagine as if your breath is flowing in and out through the area of the heart. And we're going to do that now for a few breaths together. Next, I'd like you to continue to breathe this way, and I want you to activate a regenerative, uplifting feeling, a heart-related feeling. Maybe it's appreciation for what you have in your life, or the love or the care you have for someone in your life, or maybe the compassion that you have for others and for the world. And as best you can without forcing it, just try to feel a regenerative, uplifting feeling. Now, I'd like you to gently radiate that feeling, whatever it is you're feeling. Radiate it outward from your heart. Send it out from your heart. And here's what I suggest. For just a minute or so, let's send that feeling to Ervin Laszlo in honor of him and all that he's done, and the magnificent man and human being that he is, and for his contributions to this world. I know he wouldn't ask for it. I know he wouldn't necessarily want it, but let's give it to him anyway. Let's send our heart-related, heart-directed feeling to Ervin Laszlo. Now, as I believe he would want us to do, let's expand that feeling now. Send it to humanity. Send it to all of our brothers and sisters on this planet, all going through the same shared experience, all facing their own challenges and the collective challenges of society, ascended especially to those that are experiencing hardship, those that are faced with extraordinary challenges. Add in the heart quality of compassion to this radiation and send that compassion out to the world and out to humanity itself. Let's close with a heartfelt desire for the world to have more harmony and more peace and more cooperation, less judgment, less separation, less identity with biases. See a more heart-directed, heart-related, heart-connected world emerging. Okay, thank you all very much. Just recognize that you're not alone, that we're all in this together. We're all connected energetically, and all living systems on this planet and beyond are connected. So we're all in this magnificent adventure and game called life. And that a person like you who's taking your time to watch this video, I'm certain is a person who's done wonderful things in the world for others. You're a good person and you're doing the very best you can in a challenging situation at times. So honor yourself for that, and certainly make sure you give yourself some compassion from time to time. You know, offer yourself the gift of that self-compassion because you're doing the best you can. And so I want to honor you for what you've done, what you're doing, and I'll get into it for a second and honor you for what you're going to do in the world as we go through these times together. I've appreciated the opportunity to be with you, to be a part of this festival, and I wish you all the very best, and please take care.
Hi, I'm Deborah Rosman, President and CEO of HeartMath Incorporated. I want to share my deep appreciation for Dr. Irving Laszlo and all the work he has done. And I love the term upshift. Upshift to me is uplift as well as shifting into a higher vibration. And it's so what the world needs right now, what our planet needs as it's going through a lot of shifting energies. And shifting energies bring up to the surface that which is old and no longer works and needs to be released, and brings in new energies for more coherent alignment, as we call it at HeartMath. New opportunity, new hope, new potential. So uplift and uplifting our vibration to me is the upshift. And the heart is intimately involved in that process. How the heart and brain communicate and getting coherent alignment so the mind and heart are aligned, coherent, and accessing higher dimensional intuitive ideas, solutions to our personal, social, and global challenges. That's the next evolutionary potential for humanity. And science, whether it's research at the HeartMath Institute or other institutions, is validating this. And that scientific validation helps give hope to humanity of what we can do to make a difference, to uplift, to upshift. And that's exactly what the mission of HeartMath is, and why I'm so happy to be able to share all this with you and to support this wonderful Upshift Festival and Dr. Laszlo's wonderful work. The heart is both a receiver of energies, vibration, information, and a transmitter. And so the more we can learn to still the heart, be still and know, the more we can access that intuitive guidance, the heart's intuitive guidance. And the more we can act on that, listen to our heart, follow our heart, as the ancients have all said, and be able to step into new intelligence, which we call heart intelligence. The more we can come together and connect, because we're different in our beliefs and upbringing in our minds, but we're all pretty much the same in our hearts. So that interconnectivity of heart is what gives hope for humanity. And I want to share with you a technique called Shift and Lift. It's a HeartMath technique we teach in our programs. And it's something we can each do at any time. Simple technique to get coherence between our heart, mind, emotions, align with our higher vibration, bring that in and create that heart connectivity consciously. So the Shift and Lift technique. Step 1, focus your attention in the area of the heart. Pretend like your breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area. Breathing a little more slowly, a little deeper than usual. Just find an easy rhythm that's comfortable. You can put your hand on your heart if it helps you keep your focus and attention there. This is called Shift to the Heart. Now, as you continue heart-focused breathing, activate feelings of kindness, appreciation, genuine connection, or an attitude of deep listening. If you can't connect with a heart feeling, just try to recall a time when you felt a kind or deeper connection with someone, or felt some appreciation or gratitude for something. And if that's challenging, just breathe a while, calmness, and that will help raise your vibration and help settle your energies. Remember, you can do this anytime, anywhere. Now, radiate these heart qualities. Radiate them from your heart. It'll help raise your vibration and help lift the energy field environment that surrounds you. So there's 3 simple steps. Heart-focused breathing, activate a genuine heart quality, and then radiate that heart quality through your whole body, through your heart's electromagnetic field, and to the environment. We can all contribute to shift and lift and upshift. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Joy Donnell, the Vice President of Media at the Shift Network. It's an honor to share space with you today. Since 2010, Shift has empowered 3.5 million people in 180 countries and is committed to empowering 100 million more people in the next 5 years to accelerate transition to a more peaceful, sustainable, and thriving planet for all. Our new podcast with Dr. Ervin Laszlo is our latest offering toward that goal. This show will join our Shift Podcast Network alongside other originals such as Liberating Race, which focuses on healing the collective traumas of racism, and Shift Makers with Marion Snall, which showcases iconic conversations with iconic change makers. The Upshift, Conversations with Ervin Laszlo, will focus on what we can do right now to realize a world with more equity, love, and connection to each other, our planet, and the cosmos. It will deep dive into conversations with global luminaries such as Dr. Jane Goodall, Gregg Braden, Neale Donald Walsch, and Gary Zukav. These are just a few of the enlivening and intimate fireside chats that will be available through this podcast series. I had the honor and pleasure of being executive producer of the series and hosted the first episode with Ervin, where he generously shares his own journey toward purpose. We hope that you will enjoy listening to the Upshift podcast and check out this sneak peek of the season ahead.
What is the first thing that we should remember as we are heading now toward a new era? Hopefully an emerging era that allows us to change, to be the shift that we want to see in the world.
We have for far too long been so destructive of the natural world, and we have forgotten that we actually are part of the natural world. And even if we live in the middle of a city, every breath of air we breathe, every piece of food we eat comes from the natural world. We are totally dependent on the natural world.
We have been taught that we are the product of a dead universe, an inert universe that is made and based in separation.
And the idea of separation eventually created the experience of alienation. We began looking out for ourselves and having no sense of the ultimate reality that we are all one. That what I do for you, I do for me. That what I fail to do for you, I fail to do for me.
The new science is now telling us the universe appears to be alive and conscious. The physics is telling us that we are connected. Not only connected, because now the science is telling us there's a field of energy that underlies all of existence. It's not out there. It's not separate from us. Literally, we are the field.
The universe is love. It's always evolving. There's nothing static. There are no platonic perfections. And it's evolving toward ever-increasing awareness and freedom. And that is love. That is life. That is consciousness. My name is Erwin Laszlo, and welcome to the Upshift podcast.
Hello, I'm Diane Williams. It's wonderful to be part of the Laszlo Upshift Festival, The Rise of the Bright Alternative, to celebrate the amazing Irving Laszlo's new book. Upshifting during these unprecedented times will require us to do what a car does when it upshifts from a lower gear to a higher gear to gain speed. In order to make it on planet Earth, we have to alter our trajectory and go from a lower level of being to a higher level of being. That will require us to commit to a deeper level of planetary and cosmic responsibility. Right now, as we know, we are at risk of sending the Earth spiraling into a state that hasn't been experienced for the entirety of our human existence, bringing extreme change that could quickly catapult us towards extinction. For the sake of all of Earth's present inhabitants and future generations, it is a planetary imperative that we gain confidence in ourselves that we can and will turn things around. So what do we need to upshift to change the very fabric of our reality? First, we have to allow our cellular memory of who we really are to come back and remember ourselves as the heart-based solution-thinking alchemists that we are. We all have innate abilities to transmute ordinary states of consciousness into extraordinary states, states that can transform the world's current conditions into something higher. Alchemy can help us change our perspective on how to relate to life and everything in our reality. It calls us to be in our full power and to know deep in our souls that we as human beings can upshift to the next level of our evolution and usher in a world that works for all. Unlocking any form of potential requires transcending the limitations we typically put on ourselves in terms of what we're capable of and ascend through the dimensions of space, time, and limitations to move into the quantum field where all is possible. We know that every advance, every achievement, every movement in the history of humanity that turned the dial towards our evolution has always been connected to an expansion of self-awareness of who we are. Evolution is beckoning us to examine our belief systems, cultural programming, habits, thoughts, language, behaviors, lifestyles, things we take for granted that we need to look at and be willing to let go of if they are not helping to usher in the new. These times are calling for a worldwide effort from every corner of the globe, so dramatic that it will change the very fabric of our reality. This might sound overwhelming, but we can start by each of us simply making personal and collective declarations of human responsibility, where we fully embrace and activate our innate responsibility to each other, our environment, to those in the animal kingdoms and all other life forms. Every choice we make and every action we take now has the weight, but also the blessing of that responsibility, because we are at a choice point where we can choose to fully bring the light of consciousness into this world and turn things around before it's too late. In order to activate our most advanced capacities that will lead to positive evolution, we must individually, collectively, and cosmically be coherent. Coherent is the quality of forming a unified, connective, cohesive whole of diverse elements. For example, our heart, mind, body, emotions, and spirit being aligned. It also includes when our body, including our brain waves, synchronizes and resonates with the various geometric and electromagnetic fields of our planet. In order to achieve individual coherence, we have to check in with ourselves on a daily basis and ask ourselves questions like, does my day-to-day life make me feel happy, connected, and alive? Am I making everyday choices like buying products based on what's in the best interest of the whole? Am I living my values in my day-to-day interactions? How do I treat those closest to us? Is what I am saying, thinking, and doing lining up? Sometimes we need to pause and ask ourselves, is what I'm about to say necessary? Will it contribute to the well-being of myself, others, and our environment? Or will it create division, doubt, or reaction that could have a negative ripple effect in the field? Collective and cosmic coherence can only be obtained if we have individual coherence. When we feel a sense of interconnectedness to the whole through our positive choices, meditation, helping others, living our life's purpose, we also gain more inner peace and confidence in our abilities to navigate our day-to-day lives and the issues facing our world with new energy. When we have fine-tuned our individual coherence, our energy, frequency, and vibration are stronger, and we begin to attract others that are also wanting to exponentially increase their impact in the world and their consciousness. This is when we flow easily into collective coherence. When we join together with others in a common purpose, our coherence begins to upshift, and we begin to attract to and want to join groups and movements of people taking collective responsibility for shaping our future by synergizing our individual efforts into a greater whole. Once inner and collective coherence are reached, we begin to tap more fully into cosmic consciousness and align even more deeply with the cosmic field and become even more expansive as we experience deeper oneness with everything, including the vast number of beings that coexist with us in other multidimensional realms of existence beyond the physical. These beings can be called on to work in partnership with us. In this upshifted state, we begin to feel like there is something propelling us and all aspects of our life upward. And as a result of this opening, profound visions that can lead to new ideas and innovations that the world desperately needs can manifest and give our beloved planet Earth and all of its inhabitants a chance to survive and thrive. Upshifting is the key to changing the very fabric of our reality. Thank you very much.
Good day, everyone. I'm grateful to be part of Urban Laszlo's Upshift Festival. This is a very important festival because it's talking about living consciously. We can all see the severe challenges that are out in the world. The question becomes, how are we going to journey through them? How are we going to get to this destination of a sustainable planet that's flourishing? And the answer, of course, is that we live consciously. And when we live consciously, we see the connection in all of life. We see our connection to all of humankind, to all of life in the cosmos, to the earth, to animal life, and to plant life. We go within. We understand that our inner life is vitally important. We go within and we commune with the cosmos, with the divine, where we're guided and supported to all of the things that are a part of our station in life. We understand that the field, which is the entirety of the cosmos, is actually within everything, all of life at a cellular level. That all of life is conscious, it's loving, it's alive, it's not dead. Our actions are guided by our inner life. In our actions, we see that with this connection to life, that we become responsible. It's what mature people always do. Where there's connection, there's always responsibility. And where there's responsibility, there's always positive action. Where we do these things. Focus on living consciously. Go within. Allow our outer actions to be guided by our inner being. We live a conscious life. And when we live a conscious life with others, all over the earth, all over the planet, we in a sense extend our hearts and our hands to this vision of a blessed life, a meaningful life, a purposeful life, a connected life, a loving life. And we create this sustainable, flourishing planet. Some call it even a heaven on earth. Now that might sound far-fetched, that we could create something like this from where we are in the world today. But I don't believe that this is true. I believe we can create a world like this. This is what Ervin Laszlo invites us to in his book, The Upshift. He talks about the role that we're invited to, that we can all step into this. We can all play our role. We can all participate in creating this beautiful, flourishing life that was our invitation when we were born into this life. So this is my call to action. I want to invite everybody to step into this. We in Humanities Team certainly are. We are inviting people to pick up the pace, where PACE stands for Planetary Awakening and Conscious Evolution. We're not on a pace today to create this flourishing planet that I'm talking about and that we're discussing during this Upshift Festival. But we can quickly come together and pick up the pace, and we can create this flourishing planet, and I believe we will. So let's do that together. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lynn McTaggart, and for me, an upshift during these challenging times means completely changing the way we expect life to progress. To date, we've thought that life is all about expecting our established leaders and our institutions to organize our lives. But I think with a true upshift, it's now calling all of us to step up to the plate and understand that we have to make this change. We have to start it. And fundamentally, we have to start it with a change of heart. We have to understand that the way we've been living has been dictated by an outdated scientific model, a model that has promoted separatism and individualistic thinking, also highly competitive thinking. So if we're to progress, we have to eliminate and ditch that old, outdated model and understand that our new science describes us more properly as connected, as one giant intergalactic superorganism. For me, the best place to start is, first of all, by understanding our new story, but also looking to use our extra sensory qualities that have been denied us through this old story. We are grander and more powerful than we understand. We have the power to heal ourselves, to heal each other, to heal the world. And I think that upshift really starts with the understanding of the power of our thoughts, the power of our intentions, and the power of our intentions and the supersizing of this in a small group. I've been experimenting with Power of 8 groups for many years now, and I've seen countless miracles. Miracles where people have reversed stage 4 cancer, have connected and created a tribe, have healed their friends, have healed their lives, have healed the world. I've run 40 intention experiments, everything from trying to make seeds grow faster, to purifying water, to lowering violence in war-torn areas and healing people of things like PTSD. And of those 40, 35 have shown measurable positive mostly significant effects. So I've seen the power of group intention to heal things in the world. And you can start, as all great grassroots movements start, with a small group, a Power of 8 group. And you will understand how powerful you are to heal the world around you and to heal yourself, and also to create a close-knit tribe, because I believe small communities, ground-up communities, are the way forward. Thank you so much for listening.
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Hiro Sayonji, president of the Goi Peace Foundation. And this is my wife, Masami Sayonji, chairperson of the foundation. We are honored and delighted to celebrate with you the launch of Professor Laszlo's new book, The Upshift. Erwin has been our best friend and the most reliable partner since he received the Goi Peace Award in 2001. Over the years, we have collaborated on many projects to raise human consciousness for a better world. The Fuji Declaration is one of the important initiatives which Erwin, Masami, and I inaugurated in 2015, together with 60 partner organizations and 200 eminent founding signatories, including former heads of state and Nobel laureates. As we state in the Fuji Declaration, and as Erwin emphasizes in his book Upshift, a new phase in the evolution of human civilization is on the horizon. With various crises threatening our survival on Earth, there is a growing need for change in our ways of thinking and acting. In order to make more enlightened choices and change the course of our history, we need to return to the basic question, what is our true nature, and seek a meaningful answer. The time is now to rediscover our connections to nature and the cosmos, and realign our life with the universal drive toward oneness and harmony. The time is now to awaken the divine spark in the human spirit and bring forth our innate love, compassion, wisdom, and joy to live a flourishing life. By living consciously and responsibly, we can draw upon our inherent freedom and power to shape our destiny and the destiny of humankind. Let us together make a great upshift to a world of dignity and peace that unfolds the full potential of the human spirit. A world in which each of us gives expression to our highest self in service to the human family and the whole web of life on the planet. Thank you very much, and may peace prevail on earth.
はい、ドクター・ラズロー、私は今日の日を楽しみにいたしております。また、ドクター・ラズローが新しい本をお出しになっておめでとうございます。それは、これからの多くの人たちの心に、本当に、ハート、要するに心を動かして今の世の中を変えたいと思う、そういう内容を、もう、今までのご体験の、その、通りの、お姿を見せておられると思うので、私は大変に嬉しく思います。で、また今主人が語ったように、その通りで別に私と主人とは同じ道を歩む、本当にそしてそれにドクター・ラズロが加わり、世の中を変革してまいりました。これからは私自身も世に出なければいけないと確信いたしました。そして今まで、のその 今の地球の状況、人類の状況を見ておりますと、もう地球破壊、人類破壊、それから地震、それから津波、もう多くの大自然がもう人間の欲望で壊されつつ、もう破壊に近づいております。そして人類の心は何を頼りにしていいか、もう本当にまだまだ自分たちの生き方が分かっておりません。人間は自らの神性によって生かされているのです。その神性が分からなくして、いくらその自分自身を世の中の変えようと思っても、自分自身が変わらなければ世の中は絶対に変わらないのです。この世の中を作っているのも人類一人一人の業想念、要するに欲望達成のみです。地位、権力、宗教、それから主義主張、そして男性本位。ですからこれからは私は本当に男女平等、そして若さも老いも、それから子供も、それから国境を越えて国民も人種も民族もみんな一つになって世界を大きく変えようという動きを、ムーブメントを起こしたいと思います。そのためにこれから私は世界中を回って歩きたいと存じます。その時にまたアービン・ラズローと共に行かれることを楽しみに思っております。今の状況では本当に世の中、人類も滅亡いたします。これは私ははっきり断言できます。全く今の状況からいくら部分的に変革を起こしてもそれは到底無理なことで、全人類一人一人が変わる。そのためには全人類は一人一人は自分の中に神性というものを持っている。自分を信じて生きる。人を信じるんじゃない、神を信じるんじゃない、大統領を信じるんじゃない、先生を信じるんじゃない、自分自身を信じる。この自分自身を信じるというのは、自分はこの世に生まれた時にはみんな全人類、いかなる黒人もどこの貧しい国でも孤児であっても神聖、神の命を宿って根性に誕生したのですから、みんながその神性というものが蘇った時に、世界、人類は自然に一つになって平和な世界が築き上げられます。私はそれをまたドクター・ラズローと共にやっていきたいと思います。ドクター・ラズロー、ますます頑張ってください。では、ごきげんよう。
I'm Gary Zukav, and I'm happy to join you in this celebration of the upshift. In my experience, this is the most exciting and amazing time that it's possible to be human. Humans have never stood in the places that we now stand. Human consciousness is transforming in ways that it never has before. We are now in the midst of an unprecedented epic transformation to the human consciousness, to the consciousness of the human species itself. We are moving beyond the limitations of the perceptions of the five senses and the understanding of the intellect. And we are entering perception of the world, ourselves, the universe, and all things else in ways that are not limited to the perceptions of the five senses. We still see, we still taste, touch, and smell, but all of these things now carry meaning They show us things that we couldn't even see before. This is all part of multisensory perception. Multisensory perception brings with it a new understanding and experience of power. That is the alignment of your personality with your soul. This is where the story gets very interesting. The only way that you can create the new power, authentic power, is by becoming aware within yourself of the difference in you between fear and love, and choosing love all the time. This requires some knowledge, some practice, and some commitment, a lot of commitment and courage. The only way that you can become aware of the difference between love and fear in yourself is through your emotions. Emotions are very important to multisensory humans, to the new consciousness, and to the creation of authentic power. Emotions were only hindrances, and often painful hindrances, to five-sensory personalities. To multisensory personalities, they're very important because they show us those parts of our personalities that we need to experience fully and move beyond the control of in order to give the gifts that we were born to give. And it's only by doing that that we can contribute to the evolution of humankind, only by creating authentic power. That's the story in short. The rest of it is a matter of doing it. Actually becoming an individual who's emotionally aware and makes responsible choices, who knows when fear is present in himself or herself, or love, because of the physical sensations in your body. If they're painful, you know fear is active. If they're blissful, or they feel good, really good, you know that love is active. Love is what we experience as gratitude, appreciation, caring, patience, contentment, awe of the universe. And it's very different from experiences of fear, of jealousy, of resentment, of vengefulness, of superiority and entitlement, or inferiority and needing to please, of compulsion, of addiction. We are new map makers of new maps. We're in new territory. And what our evolution becomes depends upon your choices. What you become depends upon your choices. The only things that are separating you from what you want to become and what you want our species to become are choices, your choices. When you choose to act in love, you create positive and constructive painful consequences for yourself and for the world. And when you choose to act in fear, you create painful, destructive consequences for yourself and for the world. The work that you do on yourself is not only changing you, it's a world changer. That's our new creation story. It's an amazing story. And where it goes for you and for all of us depends upon you, not upon others, not upon people joining a movement, not upon people adopting new beliefs, but upon individuals becoming authorities in their own lives, able to consciously choose between love and fear, choose love, and be grateful for it. As I'm grateful for being here with you.
Hello, all of my global citizen friends everywhere in the world. Welcome to the Upshift Festival, this wonderful event worldwide where we can affirm each other's visions of how our future can be healthy and whole and progressive. And basically, I am so honored to have had so many opportunities to read these wonderful books and to know Ervin Laszlo for so many years. He has inspired me in ways he will never know. And so I am honored to be part of this Upshift Festival, where we can affirm each other's visions of a whole planet. And the interesting thing for me is that my knowing this whole understanding of the planet and our relationship to our mother star that provides those free photons for us every day, it is the same kind of intuitive understanding that we can all access, and which Ervin Laszlo has demonstrated so beautifully in his whole life. The intuitive understanding of the wholeness and the cosmic intelligence that really drives the future, the positive future. Let us all tune into it. And I had that same kind of intuitive understanding. I never went to college, and in my mantra says, each day I recommend myself to the almighty power of universal love and the life force of which I am a small part. So we all really are a part of this wonderful universe, the life force, the purposefulness of this life force. Let's upshift our understanding to what we really intuitively know, that we can create harmony and beauty and the further evolution of life on this planet. Again, these books, Ervin's new books, and particularly I'm honored to have a chapter in his book, The Dawn of an Era of Well-Being. So let's get together, join in creating this new dawn of global and planetary well-being. Thank you.
Uplift, upshift. To me, uplift is buoyant. Upshift is bold. Uplift is like an inspiring mindset to complement upshift, which is a propulsion energetic, a world-changing, life-shifting, dynamic momentum that makes me think of rockets lifting off into the stratosphere. Lately, we've become really enamored with space exploration, haven't we? But what about inner space exploration? Without this to complement the ride, our species will wind up lost in space, spaced out without being tuned in. Ever cultish adolescents experiencing increasingly tough adolescence in this loony classroom of life. You know, most of us have experienced a relationship breakup, and whether the relationship with that individual or being was healthy or not, fulfilling or not, it was probably still hard. Breaking up is hard to do, as the song goes. Well, we are currently in a worldwide relationship breakup, from an old paradigm to a new, from an unhealthy, largely narcissistic, and often lopsided relationship that denies the many and favors the few. Learning to love self, other, something greater, is the only way through this mess of our humanness that we've not only inflicted upon one another, but other species. I mean, how many more epochs do we have to get this right? How many more redressings of the same ancient messaging before we accept our diversity as part of ultimate unity and ultimately align? To everybody, on behalf of every being, to every parent or future parent, on behalf of tender-hearted, mindful child rearing, to every leader of nation and corporation, let's use the power of our imaginations and leave a once-in-a-civilization legacy that leads with love and the gift of upshift. Folks, these are challenging times, and in different ways for each of us. In a sense, it's like we're being called upon to both consciously and conscientiously birth ourselves while also midwifing the collective. From systems and policy changes to lifestyle behavior modifications to disrupting belief systems, comfort zones, discomfort zones, the gamut of the human experience is reeling in upheaval and, in a way, being reborn. It's thrilling for some, unsettling for many, and we need to inspire a collaborative dance step that belongs to everybody, so we step less on each other's toes.
Greetings and hello everyone. It was a great pleasure to receive the invitation to say a few words at this Laszlo Upshift Festival, a celebration of our humanity and of our future and our potential futures. And of course, Upshift is really a celebration, as well as being a responsibility and an internal work, an external work. It's also a celebration of the joy of living. And when we think about upshift and we think about the two words up and shift, often with up we think about going vertically. We have to go somewhere, we have to reach somewhere. In one part, it could mean about trying to transcend where we are. But for me, the up of the shift is also about coming back together, coming back to who we are, gathering ourselves towards a unity resonance, not choosing fear, division, anger, but choosing to gather ourselves in, to find that synchronization with ourselves. So wherever we go in a state of balance and harmony. So that's the gathering, the up part of the shift. And the shift is part of this phase change that we're going through, this new space of existence that we're moving into, and we have to be prepared for that, not only through our actions but principally through our perceptions and perspectives and state of being, because those are the fundamental elements that will be the foundation of our behaviors. So we have this shared reality. And it also, for me, is reality which is spiritually grounded as well as being metaphysically well informed. For me, they are fundamental that we have that spiritual metaphysical groundwork for moving ahead as a species. The upshift is also about leaving behind an obsolete system, a system which worked at one stage of our development and brought us to where we are, but is not adequate to take us any further. I always remember an old adage that I picked up in my travels from the Middle East, and it says that you would ride a donkey to your front door, but you wouldn't ride it into your house. An old Turkish adage, I believe, which suggests to me that one medium of transport would get us to the front door, but then we have to understand that it's time to get off that vehicle and move in another way. We can't enter the human house on a system which is now obsolete for us. And to leave behind that obsolete system made me think about 5 C ways, using the C word. One is conscious awareness. The second one is connection. The third is communication. The fourth is creation. And the fifth is compassion. Conscious awareness means that we should not have our ignorance. We should be aware of what's happening in the world, be aware of the troubles, be aware of the dark places where light is required, but we're not entangled in that area. We're aware of it in order to understand where we have to move to. Connection is about understanding that we are not alone. There are other like-minded, like-souled people in the world, all over, many of us. Just because we don't see them next door or down the street, we're everywhere, and that we can connect and make those connections, whether virtual and physical. Communication is about speaking our truth, not being in fear to say what we wish, to say what's in our hearts, so others know our position, know where we are, so we can connect better with them. Creativity is about finding our resilience. It doesn't have to be creativity in art or painting or music, but creativity is about doing things in new patterns, new ways, finding ways new ways and patterns that work for us today and be resilient in that. And compassion, of course, is always necessary to understand others and their difficulties, and that we are in a time of deep healing, and others may need that compassion. We each come from our own places, our own background, and we have to come together without judgment. So finally, I would like to say for this wonderful celebration of Uplift to Irvin and friends that, to quote a great admirer that we both admire, Buckminster Fuller, he said that we are called to be architects of the future, not its victims. So let us take this joy, this compassion, this inspiration, and let us take this to be architects of our future. Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Ted Marr from Out of This World Radio, and I want to thank Professor Ervin Laszlo so much for his wonderful new book called The Upshift, as well as his fantastic conference, which is coming up on February 22nd. You know, one thing that's come from this pandemic is that we're all one. We all have the spark of the creator within us, and we all need to help each other out. And what I've been doing for the last, 4 or 5 years with my good friends, Martha Childress from the Natural Choice Network, Michiko Hayashi with the Moto Peace Project in Tokyo, Leon McLaughlin of the Washington Clean Water Foundation, and Carolyn White, wonderful psychic, and Ernest Tahoe, the Hopi Indian nation, is to raise funds for clean water for both the Hopi and the Navajo. On the Hopi Reservation in Arizona in the United States, men only live to about 44 years and women only live to about 54 years because of heavy contamination of radioactivity and other pollutants in their drinking water supplies. But we've been turning this around. We've been fundraising for them for the past 4 or 5 years now. And now many people on the Hopi Reservation and Navajo as well are getting clean water where they never had any clean water before. The purpose of my show is to make this world a much better and happier place. I've been broadcasting now for the past 8 years. I have a listener base of somewhere over 36 million people in over 100 countries. And I know if we all work together, we can and will make this planet a much better and happier place. And I want to thank Professor Laszlo again for sponsoring this wonderful conference. It's just the right thing we need at the right time to help all of humanity find our direction now. And I know that if we all work together, we can create a much better and happier world. I broadcast on Saturdays and on Mondays in English, German, and in Spanish. And my website is outofthisworld1150.com. And I hope you can all listen. And if you'd like to join our efforts to help with the Hopi, please send me an email to outofthisworld1150@gmail.com. We have a nonprofit, the Washington Clean Water Foundation. We work with Leon McLaughlin in Seattle. We've arranged with a manufacturer of water filters so that the Hopi can be provided wonderful new clean water filters so they could drink clean drinking water, as well as the Navajo. I hope you can support our efforts, and I want to thank Professor Laszlo again for this wonderful opportunity. Bye-bye, everyone, and have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.
With Putin poised on the borders of Ukraine, all Europe is threatened with being sucked into yet another war that could end in catastrophe. Beyond this, and still in the grip of COVID-19, which has affected everyone on the planet, we face the huge challenge of climate change. We need wisdom, we need guidance, and we need practical solutions to adopt and follow. During his long life and in his many books, Ervin Laszlo has consistently devoted himself to defining the challenges we face as a species and the solutions that are available to us at this crucial time of choice. In his new book, Upshift, he offers us the wisdom born of long reflection, as well as a plan to implement that wisdom in practical and achievable ways. What does the word upshift mean? It means that we're beginning to discover that we're cosmic as well as planetary beings, that we have an evolutionary purpose on this planet, and that we have a duty to care for the life of the planet and to become its guardians rather than its exploiters. Quantum physics has shown us that at the deepest subatomic level, we are inextricably connected to the entire cosmos and to each other and to the life of the planet. We do not live in a dead universe, but one that is supremely alive and conscious and intelligent. Each one of us is an infinitesimal part of that life, that consciousness, and that intelligence. Our consciousness is not created by the neurons of the brain, nor does it die with the death of the physical body. We are part of and co-creators with what we have been worshipping for thousands of years. This new view of ourselves could lift us out of the problems that currently confuse us. In chapters 6 and 7, Laszlo invites us to upshift our spirituality, our morality, our science, and our political relationships. In a word, our whole concept of reality and its related patterns of behavior. We urgently need to reconnect with nature, life, and the universe, to see ourselves in a completely different way, as part of a stupendous and truly miraculous whole. It may be possible, he says, to effect this enormous change by 2030 if we embark on it now. It is clear that we're faced with a choice. Either we awaken to a more advanced kind of consciousness that will take us beyond the patterns of behavior that have prevailed for millennia, or we risk succumbing to the chaos of the struggle merely to survive, putting at risk all our great achievements. In Upshift, Ervin Laszlo offers us an agenda for a conscious humanity that clearly explains what we need to do to move to a more evolved state of consciousness. He offers us a thread of Ariadne guiding us through the labyrinth of modern life to confront and overcome the Minotaur, the obsolete ideas, the redundant beliefs, and the archaic habits of behavior that currently control us. Despite our phenomenal technological prowess, we are held back by all of these. Upshift shows us the way out of the labyrinth, giving us the different perspective and values that we need to create a different kind of civilization, a civilization that respects and responds to the primary needs of all people and all species on this planet. The power to effect the change we need does not, he says, lie with our inadequate leaders, but with the whole body of humanity, that is to say, with each one of us. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Marianne here. It's an honor to get to be part of this with Ervin Laszlo, who as a little girl, I really used to come to the bookstore and just be in awe of his work. And the thing that always struck me the most was how he recognized interconnections. And he recognized throughout history, people needed to interrelate across not just cultures, but areas of knowledge. When you look at the world, you see people trying to understand each other, trying to understand this place that we call life. So when we talk about upshifting, which is a fabulous word that Ervin Laszlo has created, upshifting generally means shifting our perspective. And when he says up, he's saying, don't just look around. It's his fault. It's her fault. You know, this is mine. This is yours, which is all at this level. He's saying, lift up your perspective. Well, the first thing that we have to do in terms of shifting is become consciously aware of how we shift our thinking. Today, too many people pay attention to memetics. Memetics are when you have that advertisement that comes in and says, think this, think that. Any of you have a jingle in your head from a commercial that, you know, you can't get out of your head? Like, where's the beef? The minute I say that, you all know exactly what I'm talking about. Because that's a memetic that got stuck in your head a long time ago. But nowadays, we are bombarded by memetics. It's been lifted to a science. So how can we consciously change the memetics in our minds to say, I'm going to end up thinking I can. I'm going to end up thinking that it's possible. I'm going to end up believing that this world can be transformed from the inside out. And the way you do that, and this is very key, the way you do that as you consciously take control of the way you shift your thinking. You become conscious of what you choose to surround yourself by, what you choose to engage with, what you choose to pursue. Because all those things that you're involved with create the culture and environment that you're in. And if we start becoming more aware of that, then we are collaboratively not just shifting around the culture in our little bubbles, but we have the potential, you have the potential to shift humanity to a level it has never been before. And that is the beauty of trying to think of what it means to upshift. When Irvin first asked me, he said, I want you to talk about upshifting. I was like, what is upshifting? But the truth is, we do it all the time, but we downshift. We downshift into getting caught up in what we look like, who we know, how much money we have in bank. And some of those things are important, but why are they important? Let's talk about it openly. It's about power. When you're attractive, when you got cash in the bank, it gives you power. And we get so caught up in wanting the power, we forget, why do we want the power? Ask why. What is it you want to do in this world? What is it your impact needs to be? And the thing is, you're doing all those things that all of us are doing because we want power to do something. But when we get so caught up in trying to get the power, that's when we end up being vulnerable to the mimetics that downshift our thinking. So upshift yourself by saying, I am going to choose the things that I am aiming for. And I'm going to choose to resonate only with those things that get me closer to that. Because these other things are distractions, they're whirlwinds. And it's so easy to be pulled into them. And as long as we do that, you're doing the marketing's works for them. But if you take the reins of control of your life, there is no end in sight. There is no limit to the kind of impact you can have in this world.
Greetings from the Netherlands. I am Annemarie Voorhoeven, servant leader of the Club of Budapest International Network, co-founder of the Hague Center for Global Governance, Innovation and Emergence, and co-producer of the seasonal convergences like World Unity Week in June and Peace Week in September. I am about to embark on my way to the Club of Budapest Cyprus with Viola Edward and her friends to put Upshift into action, into practice, because that is what Ervin Laszlo does. He offers his creative power and inspires us to act. I will share with you some of the things that touches me. His vision and books give hope, perspective, guidance. They are rooted in wisdom, led by the heart and the mind with decades of inquiry, asking profound questions and coming with possibilities and potential. A wide range of research, knowledge, mixed with life experience. Perhaps foremost curiosity for and as the love for life that he and Carita share, as do our Club of Budapest and Laszlo Institute and friends like you. Ervin names it planetary consciousness, the knowing as well as the feeling of the vital interdependence and the essential oneness of humankind with the ethics and the ethos that this entails. The invitation I feel called to answer again and again is to come together, drawing the contours of a desirable world that is also attainable and rooted in this planetary consciousness, and in the unfolding of the evolutionary scenario that Ervin describes in the Upshift and that evolutionary leaders point towards. Let us become even more responsible and effective agents of our society's change and transformation, manifesting in responsible living and universal love. Many of us might need to let go of things, stop ways of living and working that do not serve the whole and that we actually do not need. It may require courage to do so. I trust that as humanity, we do have access to an endless source of courage that we can manifest from within and out to cope with this not knowing and this change. Let us not only focus on the rational side and include emotions, the rebalancing of the masculine and the feminine, develop justice as just is, noticing when we forget and remembering to return to the essence of life, in which, as evolutionary cosmologists share with us, love can flow in a never-ending stream. We are here to collaborate, co-create, support each other, to link up, lift up, light up. Whenever I fall in doubt, I practice to open my heart in kindness. With humility and gratitude, I put a smile on my face and I imagine immense joy whilst walking the path of life here and now in ancient times and times to come. That helps me and perhaps us. Curiosity and imagination can transform. Please hear Ervin Laszlo and our call. Join us in the upshift, in the upcoming convergences, the tales of synergy from the magic canoe. We are already here together, coming home.
Hi, Michael Ellis of the Club of Budapest, Australia. Ervin Laszlo's Upshift book is the most significant book we have for the 21st century. It makes it quite clear that we are at a tipping point, a bifurcation point, and that we have to do something very urgently, in a matter of years, if we have to survive in any sustainable way. This means we have to look at ourselves in a completely different viewpoint. This, Ervin Laszlo calls a paradigm shift. We have to change the paradigm and the way we look at ourselves, the nature of the human being, and how we create and relate to each other in terms of our connectedness in life and in business. Everything that we have achieved up to now is going to fall apart unless we understand the nature of love, compassion, and connectedness. Indeed, in Ervin Laszlo's work on the Akashic field and on the relationships between ourselves and the universe, we see that we are part of a purposeful, connected universe. We are part and parcel of process of growth, creativity, and evolution in a living, infinite universe. This nexus of change is something that we are and have to be very much a part of. We cannot neglect our relationships with the totality of the living universe and the totality of cosmic life. We have to urgently investigate the real nature of who we are and the beauty of the human psyche. Thank you very much, Ervin Laszlo, for your beautiful book, Upshift.
Hello, my name is Darla Boone. I am the President, CEO, and Executive Producer of Boone Media International. Boone Media International produces programming that is aired on PBS and beyond. Beyond is digital broadcast. It's my honor to be with you today and share a little bit about my journey with Professor Laszlo. He is my client and he is my friend. The first time I met Ervin, I had the opportunity to film him in a casual conversation. During that time, as I was just getting acquainted with Ervin, I didn't know a lot about him. I didn't really realize who I was sitting in front of. And as this conversation went on, I realized I am sitting in the presence of a very brilliant person, a true genius, and also a true humanitarian. By the time our conversation ended, Ervin and I had become friends and have been friends ever since. A few years went by and we maintained our friendship. Our friendship grew, and I realized that somebody needs to do a documentary film about the life of Ervin Laszlo. Who is this person, and how is it that he knows all of this information, has written all these books, etc., all the many things that he has done? And so that person turned out to be me. So we've now produced this 1-hour special for PBS, and it's called Insight and Inspiration of a Modern Day Genius, Ervin Laszlo. and it'll be coming out very soon, and I'm hoping that all of you will take the time to watch it, because it'll be also broadcast through digital broadcast as well. So if you're not on a PBS system, that'll be fine. You will be able to see the show, and I hope you all watch it. I find that in the work that Irvin has done, as I've known him over these years, he just has this incredible enthusiasm and strength and insight and really guiding all of us. And in his latest venture, which is called Upshift, he is the innovator and the initiator of the Upshift movement. And I feel, and all the different things I've watched him create over these last years of knowing him, I really feel that Upshift is a significantly important project for him, but also for all of us. I feel in this, he's really laid out steps to help all of us really step up and be more responsible for what's going on in the world today. We are the ones, we are the ones who gather around these ideas and take a look at how can we make this world not be as crazy as it is, and can we do that? And if we are doing that, what are the steps to doing that? And I think Irvin has really laid those steps out for all of us to be able to follow. His work very accessible to everybody. You can find Irvin on Google, you can find Irvin in many, many places, and really delve into what it is that he has to say. And for those of you who are not that familiar with his work, you will find he's extremely profound.
It's all one system. It's one quantum system. A non-local, instantly interconnected system. We are a conscious part of a conscious universe. We are one with the others. We are one with the rest of the universe, because all the information in this universe that makes us what we are is the same information that makes the universe what it is. Then what I do is what happens to you. What you do is part of me. We are then responsible for each other. We should say that each and every one of us, we are responsible for the evolution of life on this planet.